If he never texts you first, trying harder to get his attention is the exact opposite of what will make him miss you. The truth nobody wants to hear is that the more you reach out, the less he thinks about you. But there's one thing you can say that reverses this completely. One specific message that shifts everything in your brain and his. And when you say it the right way and then actually go silent, something changes in him. He starts to feel your absence. He starts to wonder where you went. He starts to miss you in a way he never did when you were always there. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what to say, why it creates that feeling of missing you, and how to handle the silence that comes after so it works in your favor instead of making you panic. This isn't about tricks or mind games. It's about understanding a basic truth about human psychology. People don't miss what's always available. They miss what disappears. And right now, you're too available. You're too predictable. You're too easy to take for granted. The words you're about to learn change that. They create space. And in that space, he either realizes what he had and comes looking for you, or he shows you he was never that interested to begin with. Both outcomes are better than what you're doing now, which is wondering, waiting, and slowly losing yourself in the process. The message you need to send is powerful, not because it's complicated, but because it's honest. It cuts through all the confusion, all the excuses, and all the one-sided effort. It tells him exactly where you stand without begging, without anger, without drama. And then it gives him room to either step up or step out. That room, that space, that's where missing someone happens. You can't make someone miss you while you're still chasing them. You can only make them miss you by becoming unavailable. And you can't become unavailable without first making it clear that things are changing. Before we get to the exact words, you have to understand what's really happening when a guy never texts first. It's easy to think it's about you. Maybe you're not interesting enough. Maybe you're not pretty enough. Maybe you said something wrong. Maybe he's losing interest. And you start doing mental gymnastics, trying to figure out what you did to make him pull back. But that's not what's going on. What's actually going on has nothing to do with your value and everything to do with how attraction and effort work in his mind. Men don't think about communication the same way women. For you, texting feels natural. It's how you stay connected. It's how you build intimacy. It's how you show someone you're thinking about them. Reaching out doesn't feel like work. It feels like connection. But for him, texting is functional. He texts when he has a reason, when he has something to say, when he feels pulled to reach out. If that pull isn't there, if he's not feeling the need to connect, he just doesn't text. It's not personal. It's not calculated. It's just how his brain operates when it comes to communication. But here's where it gets messy. When you're always the one texting first, you remove his need to feel that pull. You take away the space where missing you could even happen. He doesn't have to wonder where you are or what you're doing because you're already in his messages. He doesn't have to think about whether he wants to talk to you because you've already initiated. You're solving a problem he doesn't even have. And when you solve someone's problems before they feel them, you become invisible. There's also the comfort trap. If you've been texting first for weeks or months, that's become the pattern. He's comfortable with it. He's used to it. He knows that when he wakes up, when he's bored, when he's free, you'll be there. He doesn't have to put in effort because why? You're already putting in enough for both of you, and people don't change comfortable patterns on their own. Why would they? Comfort is easy. Effort is hard. Unless something disrupts that comfort, unless something makes him feel the absence of your attention, he has no reason to start texting first. Then there's fear of seeming too eager. Some guys convince themselves that texting first makes them look needy or desperate. They think playing it cool means waiting for you to reach out. They think they're being strategic by not showing too much interest, so they hold back, thinking it makes them more attractive. What they don't realize is that it just makes them seem uninterested, but you can't control what goes on in his head. You can only control what you do in response. And let's talk about the hard truth. Sometimes a guy doesn't text first because he's just not that invested. He likes you enough to respond when you text. He likes you enough to hang out when you make plans. but he doesn't like you enough to pursue you. He's comfortable with the current level of connection, which is you doing most of the work and him showing up when it's convenient. This doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means his level of interest doesn't match yours. And no amount of texting first is going to change that. Here's what matters. None of these reasons make it okay. Understanding why he's not texting first doesn't mean you should accept it. It just means you can stop blaming yourself. You can stop thinking you need to be different, better, more interesting. The problem isn't you. The problem is the dynamic. And that dynamic won't change until you change your behavior. The biggest mistake women make when a guy never texts first isn't that they text too much. The real mistake is staying silent about how they feel while continuing to do all the work. You keep reaching out, you keep initiating, you keep being the one who cares more, and you tell yourself that if you're just patient enough, understanding enough, cool enough, he'll eventually realize how great you are and start putting in effort. But that's not how it works. Hoping someone will change without telling them what needs to change is just setting yourself up for disappointment. When you don't say anything, you teach him that this is fine. Your silence becomes permission. He learns that he can do nothing and still keep you around. Not because he's a bad person, not because he's trying to hurt you, but because humans follow the path of least resistance. If something is working for him, if he's getting what he wants without effort, why would he change it? He's not uncomfortable. He's not feeling the imbalance. You are. But unless you tell him, unless you create that discomfort, nothing shifts. Another mistake is doubling down. When he doesn't text, you text more. You send funnier messages. You share more about your day. You try harder to be interesting. You think that showing him how great you are will wake him up. But all that does is make the imbalance worse. You're giving more while he's giving less. And the more you give, the less he feels he needs to contribute. Your effort doesn't inspire his effort. It replaces it. This comes from fear. Fear that if you stop texting, he'll forget about you. Fear that if you're not constantly in his face, he'll move on. Fear that someone else will grab his attention. So you overcompensate, you stay visible, you stay available. But that fear-based energy doesn't attract him. It actually pushes him further into passivity. Because when someone can feel you holding on too tight, when they can sense you're afraid of losing them, it takes away any reason for them to hold on to you. There's also the excuse-making mistake. You tell yourself he's just busy with work. He's not a big texter. He's going through something stressful. He shows he cares in other ways. And maybe some of that is true, but it doesn't change the fact that you're not getting what you need. Busy people make time for what matters. People who don't like texting find other ways to reach out. People going through hard times still connect with people they care about. The excuses you're making for him are really just ways you're avoiding the truth. And the truth is simple. If he wanted to text you first, he would. The solution isn't to play games. It's not to ignore him back or act like you don't care. The solution is clarity. You need to say what you've noticed, what you need, and what you're going to do about it. Not in a long emotional paragraph, not in an angry message, just simple, honest words that state the reality. And then you actually have to follow through. That follow through is what creates the space where missing you becomes possible. Here's what you say. I've noticed I'm always the one reaching out, and that doesn't feel good to me anymore. I need to be with someone who's excited to talk to me, not someone I have to chase. So I'm going to step back and see if you actually want this. If you don't reach out, I'll understand that's your answer. That's the message. Clear, direct, no anger, no guilt trip. You're just stating what you've seen, how it makes you feel, and what you're going to do. Then you're giving him the space to show you through his actions whether he's interested or not. The power in this message isn't what it demands from him. It's what it declares about you. You're done accepting one-sided effort. You're done carrying the connection alone, and you're clear enough about your worth to walk away if he doesn't meet you halfway. When you send this, you have to mean it. You can't send it as a tactic to make him chase you. You can't send it and then sit there staring at your phone waiting for him to respond. If you do that, your energy is still in the wrong place. You're still waiting for his validation. The whole point of this message is to stop waiting, to stop chasing, to stop giving your energy to someone who isn't matching it. After you send those words, you go quiet. not in a dramatic way, not in an angry way. You just stop texting him. You stop checking in. You stop being the one to keep the conversation going. You let the space between you grow and you watch what he does in that space. What he does next will tell you everything you need to know. If he's genuinely interested, if he cares, if he's been taking you for granted without realizing it, he'll reach out, he'll text, he'll call, he'll apologize, he'll acknowledge what you said. And when he does, you'll know it's because he chose to, not because you forced him. That's the kind of effort that actually means something. That's effort that comes from real interest, not obligation. If he doesn't reach out, if the silence stretches on, if he lets you walk away without trying to stop you, that's also information. That's him showing you that he wasn't planning to invest more. That's him revealing his level of interest wasn't high enough to meet your needs. And as painful as that might be to accept, it's better to know now than to waste more weeks or months wondering. Here's the part that trips most women up, the waiting, the silence after you send that message and step back. Your brain goes into overdrive. Did I say it wrong? Was I too harsh? Should I text him just to check in? Maybe he didn't see the message. Maybe he's waiting for me to text first one more time. Maybe I should explain what I meant better. But all of these thoughts are just fear trying to pull you back into the old pattern, the pattern where you chase, where you do too much, where you give him every benefit of the doubt. You have to resist that pull. You have to sit in the discomfort of not knowing. You have to let him feel what it's like when you're not there. Because if you break the silence yourself, you undo everything. You're right back where you started. You prove to him that you'll always be the one to reach out. And that teaches him your words don't match your actions, that your boundaries are flexible, that if he waits long enough, you'll cave. The silence is the test, not for him. It tests whether you can actually hold your boundary, whether you can actually let someone miss you instead of chasing them, whether you can sit with uncertainty instead of constantly seeking reassurance. That's hard. That's uncomfortable. But that discomfort is where growth happens. His response or lack of response in the silence tells you the truth. If he lets days turn into weeks without reaching out, he's telling you he's okay with losing you. If he texts within a day or two, if he acknowledges what you said, if he takes responsibility and changes his behavior, he's telling you the connection matters to him. You don't have to interpret anything. You don't have to decode hidden meanings. You just watch what he does and believe it. While you're in that waiting period, the most important thing you can do is focus on yourself, not as a strategy to make him jealous, not to show him what he's missing, but because your life needs to be full, whether he's in it or not. Spend time with friends, do things you enjoy, work on your goals, exercise, read, create, do things that make you feel alive and remind you that you're a complete person without him. The more you invest in your own life, the less his silence affects you. When your happiness depends on whether he texts, every hour without a message feels like torture. But when your life is already rich, when you're already fulfilled, his absence becomes just one small part of your reality. It stops being the center of everything. This shift doesn't just protect you emotionally, it actually makes you more attractive. A woman who has her own life, her own interests, her own joy, radiates a different energy. And that energy naturally draws people towards you who are ready to add to your life, not drain it. You also need to remind yourself of the truth during this time. The truth is, if someone wants to talk to you, they will. If someone values you, they show it through action. If someone is interested, they make an effort. You don't have to convince anyone to see your worth. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to chase. The right person recognizes your value and acts on it. The wrong person makes excuses, disappears, or keeps you guessing. Your job isn't to turn the wrong person into the right one. Your job is to honor yourself enough to only accept what feels good. This is where a lot of women get stuck. They know this truth intellectually, but they don't want to accept it emotionally. They keep hoping he'll change. They keep finding reasons to explain his lack of effort. He's just overwhelmed right now. He's not good at communicating. He's dealing with personal stuff. And sure, maybe those things are true. but they don't change the fact that you're not getting what you need. Busy people prioritize what matters. Bad communicators find ways when they care enough. People with problems still reach out to people they value. If he wanted to, he would. Accepting this is hard because it means letting go of the story you've been telling yourself. The story where he eventually sees how amazing you are. The story where your patience pays off. The story where everything works out because you cared enough for both of you. But real relationships don't work that way. Real connection doesn't require you to sacrifice your needs. Real love doesn't leave you feeling anxious and forgotten. Real partnership is mutual effort, not one person doing all the emotional labor. When you send that message and step back, you're not giving up on connection. You're choosing yourself. You're setting a standard that protects your energy, your time, and your peace. You're saying clearly that you won't settle for crumbs when you deserve the full meal. That kind of self-respect changes everything. It shifts the dynamic. It forces reality to the surface. Some guys will step up. They'll realize they were coasting. They'll see what they were about to lose. They'll start texting first. They'll apologize. They'll show you through consistent action that they value you. If this happens, great, but pay attention. Make sure the change is real and lasts beyond a few days. Real change shows up in patterns, not just promises. Watch whether he maintains the effort after a week, after 2 weeks, after a month. Anyone can try harder for a few days. The question is whether he sustains it. Other guys won't step up. They'll let you walk away. They'll stay silent. They'll move on. And as much as that stings in the moment, it's actually a gift. It's clarity cutting through confusion. It's proof you made the right call. Because if he lets you go easily, he wasn't holding on tightly to begin with. You didn't lose someone who valued you. You freed yourself from someone who didn't. Walking away isn't about being cold or playing games. It's about having boundaries. It's about knowing what you deserve and refusing to accept less. It's about understanding that your presence is a privilege, not a given. When you walk away from someone who doesn't value that privilege, you create space for someone who will. Here's the truth that connects everything. You teach people how to treat you. If you accept low effort, you'll get low effort. If you chase, he'll let you. If you're always available, you'll never be a priority. But when you clearly state your needs and back them up with acti on, you set a standard. You show him and yourself what you will and won't accept. That standard either raises him up or filters him out. Both outcomes serve you. The words matter, but what matters more is that you actually walk away. You can't say the words and then keep showing up. You can't draw a boundary and then ignore it. Your actions have to match your words. Otherwise, you're just making noise. And people don't respect noise. They respect consistency. When you say those words, say them calmly, say them clearly, and then step back completely. Don't check his social media. Don't ask friends about him. Don't create reasons to run into him. Don't like his posts or watch his stories. Let the space be real. Let the distance do its work. Give him the chance to miss you, to think about what you said, and to decide what he wants. If he comes back with real effort, you'll know it was worth the risk. If he doesn't, you'll know you saved yourself from wasting more time on someone who wasn't ready to meet you where you are. Either way, you win because you chose yourself. You honored your needs. You refused to settle. And that self-respect is the foundation for every healthy connection you'll ever have. One more thing to understand about stepping back. It's not punishment. It's not revenge. It's not about teaching him a lesson or making him feel bad. It's simply about protecting yourself. You're removing yourself from a situation that doesn't serve you. You're choosing peace over chaos. You're choosing clarity over confusion. You're choosing to invest your energy where it's valued instead of where it's taken for granted. When you frame it this way, stepping back becomes easier. You're not being mean. You're being kind to yourself. You're recognizing that you deserve more than what you're getting. And you're brave enough to create space for that more to show up. That's not old. That's self-love. Remember, this isn't just about him. It's about you taking back your power, your peace, and your standards. Every moment you spend chasing someone who isn't chasing you back is a moment you're not available for someone who will. Every text you send to someone who doesn't reciprocate is energy you could be putting into your own life. Every hour you spend wondering why he's not reaching out is an hour you're giving him control over how you feel. When you say those words and walk away, you take all of that back. You stop letting his behavior control your mood. You stop making excuses for someone who isn't showing up. You stop accepting one-sided effort like it's normal. You draw a clear line and you stand behind it. The first key point is this: your words create the boundary, but your actions enforce it. Saying what you need matters, but following through is everything. If you say you're stepping back and then you reach out 2 days later, you've taught him your boundaries don't mean anything. Don't make statements you won't honor. Don't draw lines you'll cross. Say it, mean it, live it. The second point is that silence after you step back is information, not rejection. If he doesn't reach out, he's showing you exactly where his interest level is. That's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of his investment. Let his silence answer the question you've been too afraid to ask. Stop trying to explain it away. Just accept it as the truth it is. The third point is that stepping back is self-love, not punishment. You're not doing this to hurt him. You're doing this to protect yourself. You're choosing your peace over the anxiety of wandering. You're choosing clarity over confusion. You're choosing yourself. And there's nothing selfish about that. It's the healthiest thing you can do. Next, focus on your own life while you wait. Fill your time with things that bring you joy. Reconnect with people who matter. Dive into your passions. Take care of yourself physically and mentally. Exercise, eat well, sleep enough, do creative things, learn, grow, invest in yourself. The stronger you are, the less his response or silence will shake you. Your happiness can't depend on whether he texts. It has to come from within you. Another reminder is to trust the process. If he's meant to be in your life, he'll show up. If he's not, the space you create will make room for someone better. Both outcomes work in your favor. Both paths lead to clarity. Both options protect your energy. You can't lose when you choose yourself. The only way you lose is by staying in something that doesn't honor you. Remember that this feeling, as uncomfortable as it is right now, is temporary. The anxiety will fade. The wondering will end, the confusion will clear. And on the other side, you'll either have someone who stepped up and proved he's worth your time, or you'll have freedom from a connection that was draining you. Both outcomes lead you somewhere better than where you are now. Finally, understand this. The right person won't make you question whether they want you. They won't leave you guessing. They won't make you do all the work. When someone truly values you, their actions show it. They reach out, they initiate, they're consistent, and you won't have to have this conversation at all because they'll already be showing up the way you deserve. Your next step is clear. Stop overanalyzing. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for him to magically change. Say what you need to say with calm honesty. Walk away completely and let his actions give you the answer. Trust yourself enough to hold your standard. Honor yourself enough to walk away from anything that doesn't honor you back. Believe that you deserve someone who's excited to reach out, not someone you have to convince to care. This is your power. This is your moment. This is where you choose yourself over the comfort of staying in something familiar but empty. Use these words, step back with your dignity intact, and watch how everything shifts when you finally stop accepting less than you deserve.